I was invited to speak at North Hertfordshire College.
Congratulations. And what were you speaking on?
Well,
Politics?
no,
How are you going
developing.
to be the next prime minister?
These are all areas I could have covered.
Uh-huh.
How things will change when I rule the independent Republic of Mackistan.
Yes.
Yes, no. It was developing professional and employability skills.
Okay.
Now, do you see a problem with that? Tell me honestly, if there were students studying for a course called Developing Professional and Employability Skills, would you have booked me to talk to them?
No.
No, neither would I. I mean, I've barely got a real job. I haven't held a job for any. At my age, 4 years is the longest I've stayed in any job.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also been fired quite a bit too. So
Yes.
it was an odd choice.
Mm-hmm. See, now I thought that you'd be teaching or educating on radio.
No, they weren't broadcasting or media students.
Were you kidding me? So so you had to do a talk, what, for 15 minutes, half an hour?
Well, he said I'd like you to do an hour
Oh my God, on how to be employed?
on developing professional and employability skills. I'd like you to do an hour. Should I tell you how it started, or do you have a question already at the back? There's a question at the back. Yes.
To the back, hands
Yes.
up here.
You
Mr.
put your
Mack.
hand up. Yes.
Okay.
Amy?
So the thought is developing professionalism. You could
Developing
totally,
professional and employability skills.
that developing professional, totally, you could totally do a talk on that. I think you're very good at coaching. You're very good at understanding people and how to get the best out of people. I think you'd be amazing at telling someone how to be professional, how to keep a job.
Employability.
Yeah, but that is pretty much how to keep a job.
Yeah.
It's not like CV writing and how to interview. You'd be amazing at that. But how to not get fired? Okay, what did you say?
Well, I had to come clean in the end. First of all, he said he wanted me to speak for an hour. Well, I'll tell you how it all started. It was a couple of weeks ago, there were university students graduating, and I did a phone-in on the radio. It's like, from the University of Life, what would you tell them? What would you want them to know that they won't learn at university or college?
Don't
What
go
would
to
you tell them?
university.
Well, a lot of people called up with advice. And of course, I had plenty to say on the matter as well. And this bloke was listening.
Okay.
This lecturer, he's a lecturer in law, nice bloke, Martin McCarthy, Welshman, nice bloke. So he's listening. So he emails me and says, would you like, I'm taking these students through this course. Would you come and speak for an hour? And I'm like, an hour? I said, no. I'll tell you what I could do. I could probably manage half an hour and half an hour of questions.
Oh, good plan.
Eh?
Good plan.
Yes. So, this is yesterday at 2:00.
Yes.
So I show up there, and the first thing, it's the coolest thing, he said in his email, the visitor parking, you come in and turn right. So I drove in, turned right, and I see the visitor parking. On one of the spaces it said reserved Graham Mack.
Oh, that's nice. He saved you a space.
First time in my life I've had a named parking space. Have you ever had it?
No,
With
I
your
haven't.
name on it.
No, I haven't. That's amazing.
The radio stations I've presented the breakfast show on for years, no named parking space. In fact, no, even sometimes not even an assumed parking space.
It's a bit like going back to school, isn't it? You know, when your friends say they've saved your seat, sit here. He saved your parking space.
It was cool.
Yeah.
So then I park and I walk to the reception. I go in the reception and I said, I'm here to see, and I'd forgotten his name. I had to check it. I said, Martin McCarthy. And she went, oh yeah, you must be Graham Mack. And I went,
Oh.
yes, I am, actually.
Did you suddenly grow an extra couple of inches?
Yeah, a little bit. I think so, a little bit. So she said, okay, well, here's your ID thing, badge, lanyard. So she gives me that. And then she said, oh, and here's this thing. Sit over there. You must read this. And Martin will come down to take. You must read this, right? Now, this is called the Safeguarding Young People and Vulnerable Adults. Okay?
Yes.
See the thing there, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. So I open it up, and first of all, I see this picture of the students, the dress code. It seems to me it's a little bit retro.
Yeah. They're kind of wearing like flare trousers and bright silver jackets.
I can't work out whether it's pantomime or a production of Oliver Twist. That can't be the dress code.
No, maybe not.
I don't know what it is.
Is it a university?
I don't know what it is.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, I still don't know what I've let myself in for. But I'm going to talk for half an hour questions. So I open up this thing, and it says, what to do. And on the first page, it says, to avoid any unfounded allegations, you should remember the following. And the first one is, avoid being alone with a student. It hadn't crossed my mind.
No.
It says, so I'm thinking, well, maybe that's going to happen. Not to me, obviously, but it must happen, or they wouldn't need it on the first page of the booklet.
Yes, yeah.
If it is unavoidable. So now I'm thinking, when would it be unavoidable to be alone with a student? Wouldn't it always be avoidable?
Well, not necessarily. Like, what if one's like on the floor and something wrong with it and he's hit his head and you send one of the others off to
there's
get
a whole
help
room of them. Anyway, in my mind, I'm thinking the only time I can think when it would be unavoidable to be alone with a student is if you were giving them a lift in your car.
Now that is creepy.
I know. So then I'm thinking, what's this all about? But then it says, if it's unavoidable, make sure the door remains open.
Yes.
What, of the car?
Uh-huh.
Then it says, never touch a student. Well, I didn't have to worry about that one. I don't like touching anybody.
No, that's right. Did any of them shake your hand?
No.
Did they touch you?
No.
They didn't?
No, well, you're not allowed. It's in the rules.
Okay.
No touching.
Good. Okay.
Actually, I like that rule. In fact, whenever I meet someone new, I may hand them a version of this little card. Anyway, never give a lift to a student is the next rule. So the car thing is ruled out, which still means it's a mystery. Never be alone with a student. When would that happen? It's a class full of them. When would you be alone with one of them?
One-on-one teaching, one stays behind and asks you for extra questions and accidentally seduces you. What are you going to do?
That ain't going to happen. Next one.
I'd wet myself. If I saw a student seduce you, I'd love to be a camera, fly on the wall. It'd be hilarious.
Well, I'd be like, you what? Sorry.
I'm married.
Never use inappropriate language or gestures.
Uh-oh.
Well, I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, this is a confusing one. Actually, I think this is the last rule of all, which I think is kind of sad. Well, it gets sad. It starts out, okay. Never give your personal details to a student. I get that. That would be silly. Or contact them through personal social networking. Okay, because that's creepy. Mm-hmm. Sites, telephone, or email. So that means if one of them was to email me and say, hey, really enjoyed your talk, could I have a look round Bob FM? I'd have to ignore it. It's in the rules. Never contact them through email.
Wow. Yeah.
Have I read that right?
They'd probably have to go through the tutor.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
I get that. So anyway, so now I'm freaked out by this. Okay? Not knowing... And actually, really not knowing what I'm going to say either.
Did you not plan it?
That was going through my mind. But usually I can wing most things. Mm-hmm. So then I met the lecturer, Martin, and he was nice, and he said, I'll take you through. And he's taking me up the stairs now to the classroom where I'm going to give this talk.
Yes.
And he said, we've timed this perfectly, actually. And I said, yeah. And I am already freaking out. Mm-hmm. He said, because next week they have to give a presentation. So I've told them, watch what Graham does.
Oh, no.
Does he think I've done this more than once before?
Obviously. Well, you do talk on the radio for a living. So
I know, but it's different because that's not in front of people.
No. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And you actually have to sound intelligent because they're at university.
Yeah, these are not idiots. These are
Right.
smart students. These are clever people. And they'll
So
be able
what,
to...
what happened after that?
Well, developing professional and employment skills.
What did you start with? Because you've always got to have a hook at the beginning to get
Yes.
their attention and get them interested.
Yes.
What was your hook?
What does a local DJ know about developing professional and employability skills? That's how I started, because they must have all been thinking it. There's a local DJ in. What do they know? So I tried to, kind of read their minds, pacing and leading. I think I got there.
Nicely done.
So then I followed it up with, I got to tell you, maybe you've made a horrible mistake, because I was a worthless failure after my experience in the formal education system. I left school at the age of 16 with grade D technical science O-level. That's all I got. So, do you think that was the right way to open? I was trying to be as honest as I could.
You've basically just told them that they've wasted their time going to university.
No, I told them I'd wasted my time going to school.
Okay. And then what did you follow with?
Well, so far, if you were one of the students, you're thinking, well, first of all, he said what we're all thinking. Like, what would this idiot know? Because all they do is tell the time and work for 3 hours a day and fart jokes. And then I followed it up with, and we're all a lot smarter than him. Certainly better qualified, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I went on and... What?
Carry on.
I started telling them kind of, how I got where I got.
Now that's a good story.
Well,
Now
yeah.
that is inspirational.
You think?
Yes. The story of where you came from and how you came from nothing.
Yeah.
And, met Julie and you got married.
I would say I came from less than nothing. I think saying I came from nothing is doing a favor to nothing.
Okay. Well, there you go. And then, you decided you wanted to be a radio presenter.
Yes.
And you went to afters, which this is amazing. Only 12 people get into afters in Australia. And it's the Australian Film and Television Awards.
Radio school, yeah.
And only 12 people get in a year.
Yeah, told them that.
From Australia.
Yeah.
And you were one of those.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Now, I do have to admit that the lecturer did seem to be shuffling from cheek to cheek when I admitted that I cheated to get into radio school.
Oh, no.
Don't think you're supposed to tell students that.
No.
Yeah, because I did the demo tape at a local radio station, and when they gave me the tape, I played it at home and it was terrible, so I redid it before I put it in.
Oh, okay.
Well, you say
That's all right, isn't it? What's wrong with that? You're just
I shouldn't have got in, should I? I cheated.
Why? No,
because
you
you're
didn't.
supposed to get in
I would have said you used your initiative and you realised it was rubbish.
That's what I was trying to get across, is that if you really want something,
yes, that
you need to... Cheating is a last resort, but it really was a last resort. I could have put the other tape in and not got on, or I could have redone it. But I also reminded them later on in the talk that those 12 that went through that year, I came top, so I didn't keep somebody off the course.
Well done.
Right? So it's not because anyway. But it was funny.
And we're in a cutthroat business. We're in a cutthroat
show business.
world.
You ask any actor if they're asked at an audition, can you ride a horse? They all say yes.
Yes.
That's showbiz.
Mm-hmm. Fake it till you make it.
Exactly. So, I got to that. So anyway, I ended up telling them the whole story and I got a bob and everything. And weirdly, I found 7 kind of secrets of success that I could round up with.
Really?
That's what proper motivational speakers do.
Yeah, well, while you were talking, you came up with the 7 secrets.
Well, I worked out along the way, yeah. So at the end, I could back them up and then remind them when I said each one of the bit of the story that applied to that particular one of the 7. Amazing. And I also came up with an 8th and confessed that the 8th one is one I'm still working on. And the reason why I probably haven't kept jobs very long was because of the 8th.
Okay. What are these 7 and 8?
Number 1, they're all it's, by the way. So number 1 is find it. I said there's something in you right now that is your thing. And you may have already found it and know what it is. But it may have been buried. It may have been suppressed through the formal education system, through peer pressure, through parents saying, no, you can't do that, and you believing them. And I from the age of 10, knew I wanted to be on the radio when I got a second-hand reel-to-reel tape recorder as a birthday present and used to record stuff. I knew, but never admitted it and didn't do anything about it until that day I came home from work when I'd had the van on in the radio and said to Julie, I want to be on the radio. So if you haven't found it yet, it's in there. You've got to find it. Number one is find it.
Mm-hmm.
Number two is decide on it. Now, deciding is very different to stating a preference. Yeah, it'd be nice to work on the radio one day. No, decide. I'm going to do it. No one's going to stop me. And I'm prepared to do anything it takes to make this happen. And I reminded them about the times that, when I went to the first community radio station, did a course with them. At the end of the course, they didn't have any slots. So I took their timetable and found out when the station went off the air. And I said, I'll go in there. So I was on between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m., but I was on. I decided I was going to do it. So once you've made a decision, you'll need to come back to that decision as long as you go along your way. You need to decide. So number one is find it. Number two is decide on it. Number three is do it. If you're here and you want to go there, you can visualize all you like. And you can listen to crazy idiots like Noel Edmonds all you like. But you are not going to get there from here unless you take steps. You have to do something. So number one was find it. Number two was decide on it. Number three was do it. And number four was own it.
I like it.
You can't say, I could do this, but it's because of this. And I could get into radio, but there's 12 people on afters that always get those jobs. Well, go on afters. Own it. So number four was own it. Number five was reinvent it. You have to continue. The people who have had long careers in show business, like Madonna and Tom Jones, constantly reinvent who they are. Tom Jones used to be a cabaret star, and then he became cool and started doing Prince songs. Madonna, well, you got to reinvent it. Even Tom Cruise has reinvented himself a little bit. Still in action here, but you got to reinvent it. And so when I decided I'm going to be a program director, or I'm going to be a talk show host, or I'm going to do BBC radio, you got to keep reinventing what it is you do. Number six is get back on it, which means if you get fired or things don't go to plan, you can't be moping around. You've got to get back on that horse. Number six is get back on it. Number seven is enjoy it. Because you have to enjoy it. And so
they're really good.
But I had stories to back them all up. So, and I'd already told the stories, and it was a good way just to remind them that each story was to make that point. And then I got on to number 8, which was inspired by what happened last week when Liverpool signed a new manager. Liverpool have a new manager. His name is Jurgen Klopp. He's from Germany, and he's great. And when they were trying to sign him, I learned everything I could about Jurgen Klopp from the internet. And I found an old interview that they don't talk about much, but it's an old interview from when he was the manager of Dortmund in Germany. And he said, scoring goals will win you games, but not conceding goals will win you titles. And I said, I think the way that applies to me is I've always found it reasonably easy to find the next job. I've always been good at finding jobs, at scoring goals, but not so good at not conceding goals. Didn't really shore it up at the back. Didn't really work as well with management as perhaps I could have. And that is the area, the number 8 is the hardest one, and I'm still working on it. And then I gave them an example of some people who've done it really well. 3 years ago, when it was our 25th wedding anniversary, Julie and I went around the world. We were in Auckland, New Zealand, and do you remember, have I spoken about JJ and Dom, married couple, on the Edge in New Zealand? They've been on that radio station, it may be 15 years, it's at least 10. They've been on that radio station a long time, a lot longer than I've been on any radio station. And I sat in on the breakfast show with them, hoping to steal some ideas, maybe some bits. And I did see something that I could steal, but it was very different to what I was expecting. Just after 7 o'clock, they got the nastiest, dirtiest email from their boss complaining that they were late for the 7 o'clock news. Right. Now, as you know, any boss who contacts a show while they're on the air is an idiot. It is not good management.
No.
I also know that what they were doing before 7 o'clock was pretty good. And you know that if something's going really well, you keep it going. If something's not going well, you shorten it. Yeah. It was something that really did have a few more legs in it. And maybe he shouldn't be complaining that the news was late. So what? The listener that you given the gift to. Anyway, if that had happened to me, my reaction would have been to do nothing. To just fume. To maybe complain to anybody in the room that wanted to hear me whining about what an idiot I work for. And I would have updated my CV and air check, and I may have sent it out, or at least mentally thought, this guy's an idiot. If he stays here, I'm going. Mm-hmm. That's where I would have gone. That's not where JJ and Dom went.
What did they do?
They replied straight away.
No way.
Straight away. Yeah, we were late. Really sorry. We'll make sure we do everything we can to make sure it doesn't happen again. However, the tone of your email, we object to. It really did it could have affected the rest of the show. Please, we know we did wrong, but please don't send us emails like this anymore. Mm-hmm. And then something happened that blew my mind. What? The program director replied and apologized.
No way.
Yes. So, I finished my half an hour, right? And I'm ready for my half an hour of questions.
What was the first question?
Well, I looked at my phone just to check I'm on target because I wanted to make sure I'd actually done half an hour. So I'd started precisely at 2 o'clock.
Yes.
It was 10 past 3.
Oh, no way. You talked for an hour.
70 minutes. Non-stop. Uninterrupted. Bang.
Oh, well done.
Oh, there's no way I could do an hour.
Yeah.
We thought, what is with this guy? Now we can't shut him up. So I think I got 3 questions.
Were they good ones?
No, one was a thank you for coming.
That's nice.
Was the first thing. That was really nice. And then there was a what was it to do?
Hour and 10 minutes.
Non-stop.
I bet Martin was thinking,
what have I done? He must have thought after about 40 minutes, I'm not going to get home tonight. He's still not got into radio. He's still on a construction site. Yeah. So anyway, no, there was one. I can't remember what I can remember the answer I gave, but I can't remember the question so much.
What was the answer?
The answer was something about it was about reinventing yourself and stuff like that. I can't remember what it was. One of them did say, because along the way I said, it's going to cost you. You can't have everything. Mm. So, for instance, I don't own a house. Because I've moved around so much, that has not happened. I could have owned a house. In fact, I owned a house in New Zealand. If I wanted to own a house in New Zealand, I could never even go to Australia and all the rest of it. And one of them said, so if you're in a secure job now at Bob FM, why have you still not bought a house? I didn't have the heart to tell the kid, there's no such thing as job security in radio. It doesn't exist. No, it's a myth. But I didn't want to be too harsh and say, well, there's no job security. But then again, they weren't media students anyway. So it was all quite nice. It sounds
like it went really well.
I know, but you don't know for sure, do you?
Did you speak to Martin afterwards? Did he say thank you?
Well, of course he did. He's a nice guy. He said thank you. Well,
did he invite you back?
Well, this morning, what time did this come through? 8:14. Hey, that's quite early, isn't it?
Yeah.
Got an email from Martin.
Lovely.
I'm sure he wouldn't mind if I read it to you. Am I talking out at school here, do you think?
No, fine.
I think okay. He said, well, here look. See how thank you is written really big on the email?
Ah, that's lovely.
Okay, so thank you is really big. Then he says, that's a big thank you for coming along and speaking to the foundation degree students yesterday. Your talk was summed up in one word, inspirational.
Oh, amazing.
Not my word, but that of the students.
Not one I choose, but still.
Yeah. Long is the word I would use. 70 minutes, give me a break. I was bursting for the carsy. I don't know. It says, you told it from the heart. You shared your war stories. You introduced new thinking, managing your manager. as you mentioned on your show earlier, yes, you did talk, because I mentioned it on the air this morning, you did talk for 70 minutes. However, I didn't get a sense of restlessness among the students through those 70 minutes, which, take it from me, is an amazing feat! Exclamation mark.
That's incredible.
Then he says, perhaps you missed your vocation.
Oh.
Or could there be a budding third career awaiting Graham Mack? You would make a fantastic lecturer. Now, I have to disagree with him on that because, you know, I think I could be a guest speaker.
Yes.
But I couldn't get in all whatever. The kids are
You want to
driving
stand there and
them
lecture them every day.
No,
Oh, boy. They'd annoy you. You'd be like, oh, you don't even like them.
No, I don't like them. No, but these were really nice people. They were really, really nice people.
Oh,
But
yeah.
in
No, I
general,
just meant like
don't
in general, like people
people.
and students and yeah.
Yeah. So that was quite the result, wasn't it?
Well, I have to agree. I think, yes, I think you could be a good motivational speaker. Did you tell them you got fired?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Because that's a good story, because that is like, you know, you can lose everything, but you can bring it back and get it back with working hard.
Got to get back on it, which is one of my rules there.
Yeah.
I should put them out, shouldn't I?
You should.
Rules
Do a
out
blog.
there. Yeah. Well, I'm working on a blog just to say, you know, thank you. And I don't think I'll specifically go to that because you need the whole damn story. And it's just too long. 70 minutes?
Yeah, no. Just do your 7 tips for keeping a
I
job.
work with all the examples. Anyway, yeah.
You don't even need all the examples.
Well, I've got to
Just
you've got to
brief
prove that you
ones
know what
that
you're
you
on about. Because anyone
No,
can just
no one
say
does on the
stuff.
internet. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I suppose if priests give marriage guidance.
Oh, I'm really pleased for you. I'm glad. I'm really glad it went well.
Interesting.
Experience.
Yeah.
Would you do it again?
Oh yeah, yeah. I could talk about me for hours. I'm my favourite subject.